The Formula One racing world is currently shaken by the huge chaos that has hit the Ferrari team following the emergence of shocking allegations against Lewis Hamilton. This issue has not only shocked the fans, but has also sparked various speculations and debates among analysts and sports observers. As the situation continues to heat up, many are wondering about the impact of this controversy on Ferrari and Hamilton himself. What exactly happened behind this big chaos? Let's discuss it. Scuderia Ferrari had a difficult start to the 2025 Formula One season after both its drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, experienced difficulties at the Australian Grand Prix. In the race, which was run in both dry and wet conditions, Leclerc could only finish in 8th place, while Hamilton had to settle for 10th. This result is certainly not the picture expected from a team that has great ambitions to return to the top of the standings. According to reports in the Italian media, Ferrari was forced to use very strict car settings in Australia after discovering that the ride height of the SF25 was too low. The problem was discovered after Leclerc recorded a high speed during Friday's practice session. As a result, the car was not able to perform at its best during the race, and the performance of both drivers did not reflect the true potential of the SF25. However, it was not only the on-track performance that was in the spotlight, but also the radio communication between the drivers and their technicians, which was considered too aggressive and unprofessional. The incident prompted Ferrari team principal Frédéric Vasseur to take a firm stance against Hamilton and Leclerc. On the team radio during the race, Hamilton was heard rejecting various suggestions from his new race engineer, Riccardo Adami. Adami, who previously worked with Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz, tried to give Hamilton strategic direction, but the 7-time world champion was heard to disagree and even tend to ignore the instructions given. After the race, Hamilton described his experience as a crash course in driving a Ferrari in the wet. On the other hand, Charles Leclerc was also involved in a tense communication with his race technician, Brian Bozzi. When receiving information from Bozzi, Leclerc gave a sarcastic reply, calling it wise words, which was considered a form of impatience with the instructions given. The stubborn attitude of the two drivers has invited criticism from various parties, including Ralf Schumacher, a former F1 driver and brother of Ferrari legend Michael Schumacher. Speaking on the German-language program Backstage in the Pittsburgh Lane, Schumacher argued that Hamilton and Leclerc's attitude had crossed the line and did not reflect the professionalism expected of drivers in their class. It's not just Hamilton, but also Charles Leclerc, who is just as stubborn on the radio, Schumacher said. If I were the team principal, I would call both of them into the office and give them a stern reprimand because their behavior is inappropriate. After all, the whole team is just trying to help them, and if they are also being stubborn, that is unacceptable. In addition to the behavior of the drivers, sharp criticism was also directed at the Ferrari team technicians and engineers, who were seen as less responsive to technical problems on the track. One of the most recent incidents that sparked debate was when Charles Leclerc reported that there was water in the cockpit of his car during the race. However, the response from one of Ferrari's engineers, Brian Bozzi, was seen as dismissive and unprofessional. Christian Danner, a former F1 driver who is now an analyst, highlighted Bozzi's response to Leclerc's complaint. When the driver expressed concern about the presence of water in the cockpit, Bozzi simply replied in a casual tone, "It must be the water that's the problem." The answer was not considered to be a concrete solution and showed a lack of seriousness in dealing with the situation reported by Leclerc. Danner strongly condemned this attitude in an interview with Motorsport magazine from Germany. He felt that an engineer working for a team like Ferrari should be able to give a more professional and technical answer, not just one that seemed careless. "I think it's really embarrassing," Danner said. The driver reports the problem not to be ridiculed or considered excessive, but to find a solution as quickly as possible. An engineer should give a concrete answer, like is there a leak, is there a problem with the cooling system, or maybe there is a problem with the water bottle. Bozzi's response was completely unhelpful and actually reflected a lack of effective communication within the team. Danner also stressed that Leclerc is not the type of driver to complain without reason. He is known to be a focused and competitive driver, so when he reports something, there is a good chance that there is a real problem that needs to be addressed immediately. In the high-pressure, fast-paced world of racing, the response of the technical team is critical to ensuring optimal performance on the track. During a race, every second counts. If a problem occurs, the technical team must investigate and find the cause immediately. This kind of underestimating attitude only lowers the driver's morale and shows that there is something wrong with the team's communication system, added Danner. The criticism of Ferrari's technical response reinforces the notion that the team still faces challenges in terms of internal communication and in race decision-making. This incident also raises broader questions about Ferrari's ability to compete with other top teams that have more solid coordination between drivers and technicians. After the race, Lewis Hamilton responded to the communication incident with his race technician. He admitted that his working relationship with Riccardo Adami is still in the adjustment phase and that he appreciates his team's efforts to ensure that everything runs smoothly on track. "I thought Riccardo did a really good job," Hamilton told the media. "We're still getting to know each other, getting a better understanding of how we work together. It's not something that can be perfect in 1 or 2 races, but I'm sure we'll find a better rhythm going forward." Hamilton also stressed that communication during the race is a very important aspect, but each driver has different preferences. "After this, we'll evaluate all the communication, look at the things I said, and understand where we can improve. I'm not the type of rider who likes too much information during the race. If I need something, I'll ask for it. But he did a great job today," he added. Charles Leclerc, on the other hand, did not want to comment too much on the tension that could be heard on the team radio. The Monaco rider preferred to concentrate on the technical analysis of the race and trying to improve his performance with the team. "We have some things to improve," Leclerc said simply. "Of course, communication is always an important part of the team's strategy, but for me the most important thing is how we can improve the performance of the car and make sure we can be more competitive in the next round." Although reluctant to speak at length, Leclerc stressed that he and the team will work more closely together to avoid misunderstandings in the future and to optimize their strategy for the next race. With the schedule getting tighter and tighter, every little detail can make a big difference in the fight for the top spot. Ferrari is under a lot of pressure after a less than satisfactory result at the Australian Grand Prix. The Italian team must work extra hard to develop the SF25 to be more competitive on track, especially with the dominance of Red Bull and the increasing performance of other competing teams such as Mercedes and McLaren. As the competition gets tougher, every technical detail of the car must be perfected, from aerodynamics and suspension settings to a more effective pit-stop strategy. In addition to the technical challenges, the internal challenges within the team are also a major concern. As team principal, Frederic Vasseur must ensure that the coordination between technicians and drivers runs smoothly. Ineffective communication can be fatal in a race, especially in crucial situations such as tire change strategies and team decisions when the safety car appears. On the other hand, the dynamic between Ferrari's 2 main drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, is also a determining factor in this season's journey. Both drivers have great ambitions to win, but differences in driving styles and desired strategies can create potential tensions within the team. Will Vasseur take a firm approach by establishing clear roles for each driver? Or will he give Hamilton and Leclerc more freedom to determine their own strategies on the track? Vasseur's decision will have a major impact on Ferrari's performance in the next race. If the team management cannot handle this pressure well, it is possible that Ferrari will fall further behind its competitors. Should Ferrari be more assertive in determining the team strategy, or should they give the drivers more freedom to fight fairly on the track? Let us know your opinion in the comments.